What's up, guys? I've been wanting to make a video since I got my new kit for quite some time, and so here it is. Some of you might be sick of all my little gear videos and stuff, but I just got to say I'm really excited about this kit and finally being a DW drum owner. A little bit of history and story behind this whole thing is, first of all, I just want to say that, there was nothing wrong with my Tama drums. I loved them. They sounded fantastic. The finish I was extremely proud of because I did it myself. And they turned out really nice. Everywhere I went, lots of compliments and stuff. But I was just getting to the point where it wasn't quite the sound that I was after anymore. They're very aggressive, punchy, lots of tone and lots of punch and, really loud, but I wanted a more warm, full, very rounded kind of tone. Just really warm and rounded. That might sound odd, but with a nice little punch behind it and some, nice resonance. And so I ended up posting my Tama kit on Craigslist and didn't really have any bites, and I thought about posting it on eBay, but I didn't want to have to deal with shipping it or any of that kind of stuff. And so I called up Guitar Center in Linwood and talked to them about my kit, and they were interested, so we ended up swapping pictures back and forth because I wanted to see what DW kits they had and other kits that they might have there. And so we did some picture swapping, and after that they were even more so interested in my drums. So we started talking numbers and things like that over the phone, and so I ended up packing up my Tamas and taking a drive over there for the day. And I got there, and I was in the mindset that I would just take my Tamas home if I didn't find something better sound-wise, or if it wasn't exactly what I was wanting sound-wise. So I got there and I set up my kit, and then I pulled down several different kits throughout their store and played them side by side. And I did this with a Pearl reference kit, which was very, very nice. Lots of low end, lots of punch. It was very similar to my Tamas, actually, but to me, I think there was more low end in the reference. And again, absolutely gorgeous sounding drums, but it wasn't the sound that I really want. So we put those away, and then I tried a Pearl Masters, and to be honest with you, the sound between the Masters and the reference was not a lot of difference. I know that reference, you get better quality hardware and cooler looking lugs and stuff, but as far as sound goes, there wasn't a lot of change between the two. Really nothing noticeable at all to me. So we put that one away, and then I tried a Gretsch Renowned, which was gorgeous, and it actually had the sound that I wanted, but it didn't have the finish that I was after. It had a sparkle, a kind of ugly sparkle finish on it, and I'm just not in the mood to tear all the wrap off again and refinish another kit. As much as I enjoyed doing it the last time, I really don't feel like doing it again anytime soon. It was a lot of work. So that was the main no on the Gretsch kit. Otherwise, sound-wise, it was phenomenal. And then I pulled down then I pulled down a Yamaha Absolute Maple, and that was dead on what I wanted. But again, still wasn't real happy with the finish that was on it. So that turned that off. I don't want to refinish anything. And then comes these DWs that I have sitting here. I set these up, and it just, with beat up heads that were on it, with a quick tune, these things were just everything I wanted from the finish, which is extremely similar to my Tamas, which is kind of silly, but more importantly to the tone. I mean, these things just sing. They sing. I don't even know how else to describe them. Very quick tuning. A lot of you on the forum on Drum Chat knew that I was having an issue tuning my 12-inch tom, and a good friend of mine on there, Northern Redneck, told me to take my drums out of the room and tune them separately in a different room. So I did that, and by golly, his advice was dead on. That's all I had to do, and they tuned up fast. I was comfortable where I was tuning, so it made it a little funner and easier to tune. And I tuned it, brought it downstairs, and bam, voila, that 12, and I've never liked 12s. Oh my gosh. So I did the same thing with the rest of the toms, and I can't even tell you how happy I am with them. However, I did try putting on a 2-ply Evans coated, and these drums just don't go for that, at least for the sound that I really want these drums that I know can produce. So I had a brand new set of G1s because Guitar Center gave me a whole round of brand new heads, top and bottom, all the way around. So I tried putting on the G1s, and just seconds, there was a massive change in tone for the better. And so I wanted to take it one step further, and DW really recommends that you put their heads on, and I'm sure some of that is a sales pitch kind of thing. But I did a lot of research on these heads, and I actually talked to DW, and I talked to some people, and these heads are not just your typical stock junk head. These are very, very good heads. DW put a lot of thought into making these drum heads. Remo, which is the biggest name in drum heads, built these drum heads, and the fact that they're coated clear is brilliant to me. They are a single ply coated clear, so you get that nice warm attack from the clear, and then it kind of eliminates a little bit of the overtone with having the coating, and it's a match made in heaven. They are brilliant drum heads. A lot of people say stock heads are junk, but these are not stock heads. Yes, they are stock heads, but they are not your typical crappy stock head. These are well designed drum heads. And as soon as I put these on, another world opened up. What I thought sounded great before, after I put these on, it's amazing the change with these heads. The way they make the edge to sit on the bearing, the coated clear, it's just everything about them. They're really nice drum heads, and you can put these things on any drum. You don't have to have a DW drum. You can put them on any drum you want to. So I know that I've read forums where do they only sound good on DW drums, and I can't imagine that be the case. A drum head is a drum head. They're not just designed specifically for DW. You can put them on any drum you want to, and I would highly recommend checking them out. So another reason why I've really wanted to go to DW drums and to become a DW drummer is their quality. A really good friend of mine and an amazing drummer by the name of Gary Williams. I would look him up. Gary is Garey, and then Williams.com. He is an endorsed drummer through DW and Sabian and Vic Firth and all the big companies, and he lives over in the Seattle area. And he comes over here and does drum clinics quite often, and comes over and plays with his band Ecstasy and Numbers, which I would also look up, ecstasyandnumbers.com. Fantastic jazz, fusion, rock mix, instrumental band. Really good band. And you'll see Gary's humongous DW kit. And it inspired me and really got me motivated to really want to go and move to the DW family, I guess, as corny as that may sound. Excuse me. But listening to his drums and the tone coming out of those and the projection and how warm they were, and how well their drums are built. I mean, from the drum head to the shell to the hardware, the design of the lugs, just everything, every little detail that DW puts into making their drums is just, it's top notch. And I always, and forgive me PC users, but I always use this kind of analogy as it's like going from a PC to a Mac. Mac doesn't cut any corners whatsoever. PC always goes to the highest, to the lowest bidder, excuse me. So that's what you get. And again, forgive me, PC owners. I know that a lot of you are diehard, and I was for quite a long time until I went to Mac or Apple, and there's no comparison. And so I kind of base that off of drums. I had a really, really nice Pearl Masters kit a while ago. I had my Tamas. Those are all, real top of the line kits. And, excuse me. And they're all very well built, but when you look at the craftsmanship that goes into a DW set in every aspect, you really start seeing the quality that's involved and the reason why the drums are as expensive as they are. It's because you're getting the best of the best quality. And there's a lot of other drum brands, excuse me, out there that are just as good. Some of these custom drum builders and stuff, they're phenomenal, amazing drums, probably even better than these. But these are what I was after. These are what I wanted. And Guitar Center made that happen. Walked in there, walked out with an amazing deal, came home with my dream kit. And so anyway, that's a little story of why I did it and what I think about them. And so let's just go into some detail now and see what makes these stand out. So hang on and we'll keep this ball rolling. All right, guys, we are back. It is time. Let's dive into some cool stuff on these. Again, forgive me if you guys are sick of my videos, but I'm just really excited about these drums and the quality, and I just feel like sharing. So I apologize if you guys don't want to see this. If you don't, click it off. And I just thought I'd share my opinion and my excitement towards these. And so anyway, let's get to it. Let's see, where do we start? Well, look at the finish. The finish is amazing. This is called a tobacco satin finish, which is extremely similar to my other one, to my Tamas, which I just think is totally awesome because I really loved the finish on my Tamas. So what kind of luck is that? You can kind of see the grain as you're kind of looking in there. You can really see the grain kind of jump out. I mean, just real classy. I love natural finish. But going into the details of this, starting with let's just start with the legs. These legs are pure beef. If you look closely, that is a 1/2 inch thick leg. 1/2 inch thick. Typical legs on most other drums are much smaller than that, and then they put the stupid cross cut on there for grip and stuff, and I hated that. I thought it took away from the beauty of the whole shell. I couldn't stand it. But DW doesn't do that. First of all, they make the leg super beefy, 1/2 inch thick, solid material, and then they keep it beautiful, just a nice smooth chrome. And I love that. That's just another simple idea that they perfected, in my opinion. with their quality control and their design. It's amazing, and I love it. The other thing is, if you look down at the bottom, down here, you'll notice that it goes straight down, and then it comes across and then goes down. This design is amazing because on most legs, you go up and then you cross it like a 45, and then it comes up. The leg is thinner on other ones, and then what happens is when you hit the drum, it causes weight to push because of the design. It pushes it, which causes your drum to sound a little bit different. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference, but this is just another little step that DW takes to correct that, so you get full tone out of that drum. And they don't use super gaudy, ugly feet, like those on most typical legs. I mean, they're huge, and then they put a hole in it for suspension and stuff like that, and I just can't stand them. They're huge and gaudy, and they take up space, and I can't stand them. I love this. They're just little. They're there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's all they need to be. They don't need to have big holes or cushion or anything like that. That's why they made this. And then they made just this huge, beefy leg. And so that's one thing that, little things like that. They look at every detail of every aspect of every drum and every piece of hardware, and they think of the absolute best. And that, to me, is absolutely the best. And then they have, the mount. I mean, it's beautiful looking. It's a nice, classy design with a nice, big, thick rubber gasket, so there's no possible noise issue or anything like that. A nice memory lock that sits nice and flush right up against there. That also looks, it just fits in there flawlessly. So it just makes a nice, beautiful fit. They put their nice little logo on there. It's just super classy to me. I just really, really like everything about that. So that's that. A lot of people think that their lugs are gaudy and huge and ugly and just way too big. I completely disagree with that. I think they're nothing short of extreme class. They're beautiful lugs. They complement the shell and the hardware and everything beautifully, in my opinion. I think they're wonderful looking lugs. Super classy, and again, they have the big rubber gasket right behind it to keep from any noise happening. I love the design of their lugs. So anyway, that's the floor tom. I thought we'd jump over to my snare. Got a little dirt on there. This is a 13 by 5 cast aluminum shell. Let's take it off here real quick. Excuse for the shaking of the camera. Let's bring it over here. And again, forgive me for the camera shake there. I apologize. It's dusty. Just look at the finish right there. It's a brushed aluminum with a satin. Actually, I think it's a flat black finish. And if you get close, you can see all the lines and stuff from the brushing. I love that. It's just that one extra little detail that they put in it that just makes it gorgeous. And then they put this flat black finish on it. I just love it. Beautiful badges. I love their badges. The lettering pops out, and just pure class to me. I just think that's just super classy. And then again, the satin chrome with the flat black. It's a match made in heaven, in my opinion. These have the True Tone 3mm triple. Anyway, triple flanged hoops. I'm losing it. Sorry, guys. Really super thick. You can see how thick that is. It's about as thick as a die-cast shell, but in a triple flange form. So, True Tone hoops. They're gorgeous lugs again. But one of the key features that I love about this thing is that right there, the mag throw. Oh, so dirty. The mag throw. I mean, just look at it for one thing. It's just a beautiful, beautiful design. Again, very classy, elegant, and smart. That's a great word, smart. It's smart. It's so simple, you know. Just let it off. It's absolutely quiet. I mean, just listen. There is nothing going on there, no noise whatsoever. You know, you drop it down and those snares just fall from the head. There's no chance of beating the crud out of that thing and getting still some snare buzz. It's just not going to happen. And then they're closing back up. You just boom, and it's up. The snare tension adjust is very smooth and precise. It's just awesome. It's awesome. And then you go over here and you look at the butt plate, triple or 3-position butt plate. You can have it off and have that real deep bottom, awesome 70s kind of sound, or you can just put it in the neutral position where it's just your normal sound, or you can really crank it up and just get a real tight pop sound. So you have basically 3 snares in one with just a flip of a switch. And again, I mean, look how elegant it looks. It's beautiful. Nice big black rubber washer to keep everything quiet and locked in. It's just another design that I think DW just thinks of every little aspect of every drum and just does it right. They just do it right. And so that's my snare. If you look under here, you can see, I think you should be able to see, it's pretty thick. I think it's about an 1/8 inch thick, somewhere around there. I could totally be wrong with that, but it's fairly thick shell. It's got the True Tone snare wires, which are extremely comparable to Pure Sound wires. Lots of design went into these as well. Great wires. And no, I know that all this that I'm hyping about with these guys, I am not endorsed. I wish I was, but I am in no way endorsed by DW. I'm just a very proud owner. So that's the snare. I guess what we can do now is venture on to the rest of the kit. I'm going to go around to the front side of the drums and we can take it from there. So hold on and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Now we're at the other side of the kit because I wanted to go over a few things, but let's just creep on down here and you know, just take a look at that beautiful finish. I mean, they're just so nice. I'm just so very happy with these drums. Anyway, let's get back into it. Wanted to talk a little bit about their mounting system for the rack toms. I'm sure a lot of you already know, but this is a Virgin kick drum. This plate sits on top, and the coolest thing about this design is that this whole thing can slide forward or back with just releasing the wing nut and this little stopper. It's that simple, and you can position these in a lot more or all the way back. Like I got it, I still can come back a little bit. But a lot of drums don't have that. If there's mounts on the kick drum for your toms, it's stationary. There's only one position you can put them in. You don't have that flexibility of moving them back and forth. I do believe Mapex does that, and I think they're the ones that actually started the whole idea. And then DW just kind of designed their own way of doing it. And I love it. I think it's brilliant. To be able to have that flexibility of positioning those wherever you want is fantastic. So to me, that's another great design idea that DW put into their quality control. And then you come up here, and again, the L rods for the toms are also 1/2 inch. I mean, those things are burly. The only issue with those for some people is that they're not compatible with pretty much any other drum out there. But if you have these L rods, you probably want them on a DW kit anyway. So I mean, they're just burly. The hardware is just, it's just amazing to me. It's just so burly and built so well. I wish that they had gone with just the beautiful, just, you know, shiny look of those, or of those, you know, on the L rods instead of having this. That would have made it a million times better in my opinion. But you know, you get what you get, which is always good. You know, and then they have the same mounting as they do on the floor toms, but you have this awesome mount, and this mounting system is fantastic because it sits real sleek against the shell, doesn't take away from the finish anywhere. It just nicely snugs in there, but it holds the drum beautifully. It's still very classy looking. It almost adds a little bit more appeal to the drum rather than takes it away with some of those other hoops or some of those other mountings where you got the big rod that goes across and sticks out and clunks around, and I hate those. A lot of the drum builders are getting much better, but I just truly love this design. And I always have, even on my old PDP kit that I had, the LX Exotic series. It had, you know, that similar design just to fit the PDP lugs, and I've always really enjoyed that a lot. They're very quiet. You can't, I mean, nothing moves, nothing makes any noise. They just sit there and do their job. You know, their badges, I mean, their badges alone are just super classy. I hope my finger's not in the way. Super classy looking. Again, it highlights the rest of the drum rather than takes away from the drum. It just makes the drum even more classier and more pretty by designing a beautiful badge like that. And then they have all these little accessories like this little puppy bone that you can just mount all over the place. This thing is burly, again, 1/2 inch. It locks here, and it also has a tension rod right here that you can lock down. So you have double locking. So this thing will never move. It'll always be where you want it. It's a brilliant idea. Again, I wish they would have went with just with the normal, nice, smooth chrome on these rather than this. I just don't like that at all. But you know, that's maybe somewhere down the road they'll think of that or something, or it's just not a big deal and they don't care. I don't know, but I love them, and that's you know, the design quality. I mean, look at the mount. The ball is huge. I mean, these things are just built like tanks. I just love it. I love everything about this kit. You know, every kit I get a little better and better, and I think I've hit the lottery with this thing. These drums sound amazing, look amazing, are built like a tank. I just love them. I'm so excited, and I'm sure you can tell by the tone of my voice how excited I am about these, and I just wanted to share. You know, another thing is the resonant drum head. I'm sorry if you can't see it. The lighting pretty much sucks, but you know, they even went into designing the resonant side head. You know, instead of poking a hole, which a lot of people need to have because of, you know, the mic situation and stuff, but John Good, you know, if you poke too big of a hole, you're going to lose all the tone that comes out of this drum. It's just going to fly right out of there, and you're not going to get anything out of it. So he designed this shell, or this head, with vent holes, so you capture all that tone that drum's producing, and it still can breathe, which helps it produce even more. And that's a brilliant design, just poking holes like that. It's simple, but so brilliant at the same time. So anyway, that's my kit, guys. I hope I didn't bore you to death, and I'm sorry about my little speech stutters there throughout the video and stuff, but I hope this gave you some insight and maybe encouraged you to maybe look into upgrading or something like that, or just gave you some food for thought. And I tell you, I'm super excited. It kind of re-energized me and re-inspired me to get back behind the kit and really just play. And I can't wait to get these things out on a stage and get them fully mic'd up and really start wailing away. And anyway, thanks for watching, you guys, and I appreciate everything, and you know, take care, and it's time to start rocking. Have fun, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.